Yeah. So today, like I'm going to demonstrate. So what is a playwright? Okay. So and what is a playwright architecture? And how do we set up or install playwright in your machines? So first of all, what is a playwright? So playwright is a simple term. So there is a one site I will gonna tell you, and that is a core site for the playwright. So everything will be there in the technical document. So we call as a technical document. So there will be in the playwright dev. Okay, there is a site called playwright dev. All the technical documentation will be given here. So what is the thing? We need to spend some time to grab it. So it is a technical document mean normal people cannot understand directly. So whoever already worked on some other tools, they can grab easily. Okay, so that is the thing. And you see that the very first heading in that page, Playwright is enable for reliable end-to-end testing. Okay, end-to-end testing for modern web application. Okay, so Playwright is a powerful automation framework. Okay, that enables reliable end-to-end testing for a modern web application across the browsers. Across the browsers like Chromium browser, Firefox browser, WebKit browser, right? So that is the thing. So first we can automate a browser. We can automate API. Okay, and somebody knows that already. Anybody have an idea about the Selenium, Cypress? Anyone?
Selenium, yeah.
Yes, Selenium, Cypress. So apart from right now, we are hearing this is a popular tool. Why popular? Okay, why it popular? And why it grab that current industry? Why it was grab the current industry? Because it has a rich kind of features. It has a reliable features. Okay, we can rely on that. So how do we rely? Because of features, because of the architecture. Okay, so because of features, different features, which other tool does not give this kind of features. Okay, other tools may not give eh, this kind of features. They are some of the tools are giving, but they are not reliable. Okay, because one example I'll tell you. Whoever from the Selenium. In Selenium, I nearly worked on like 9 years, 9+ years of experience on that Selenium. So every time we used to do like kind of a rerun. Why we do rerun? So there is a thousands of test cases. The client asked to run that regression. So 50% failures will come. Again, we used to do like rerun because there is a flaky test. So what is meant by flaky test? The test which required some weight. So which means your command, your Selenium command and browser action is not correlating because the browser might be slow, your action will be speed, something kind of thing. Okay. So the test wise is a robust test only, but there is a kind of flaky. Okay, so if I do rerun, that the number of failures will be decreased every time. So because of weight synchronization of your application, your test run. So that is the core thing are covered in this. Okay, so you see that any browser, any platform, OpenAI. So what is mean by that? So this playwright also which support a modern Chromium. So modern engines we call as a engines. So engines. Okay, engines means is a bundle of software you can say. So Chromium and WebKit and Firefox. And across the platform, different platforms like you can build this test scripts on Windows. You can run on Linux. Okay, and also we can run headless mode or headed mode. What is mean by that? Head mode and headless mode. So you want to see your execution, so that you should specify that head mode. Okay. So the browser opening, launching the site, and action, doing the action, whatever you automated, the sequence of step which is performing on the web tool, you want to see that execution, you have to run in head mode. Headless means, so in the memory, that same that execution will be happening without seeing that, without opening any browser, but internally that have capability to run and put the result, something like. Okay, and also this tool support, the Playwright support across languages. Okay, class languages, which means TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, and Java, as .NET as well. Okay, and also it supports a test mobile web app. So test mobile web app means, so whoever anybody have this test mobile web apps. So I can also inspect and I can see that do the mobile view. So this is the browser only, but this is a mobile view. So our test like Selenium, which can run this mode. It is a mobile mode, but it is not a app, a browser, mobile browser we can see. So that feature it has. Okay, and other tools also this feature will have. Like Selenium will have like cross browser, cross platform, cross languages. Okay, yes. The next one is the Fluky test. So this is a new feature which never are not having other tools. Okay, somehow Cypress will have, but not okay fully. And the Selenium, there is a no auto wait. We have to say that WebDriver, please wait. My element should be visible, something like. But in this Playwright, it doesn't do that. So automatically it will have a auto wait. Okay. So by the way, this is the like common and the most automation we call a bottleneck for other tools. So that was overcoming this in this Playwright. Okay. So we automatically it has inbuilt feature. It waits sometime like default time the element to be visible, element to be enabled, button should be enabled, something like, right? And and also we have kind of other features. So let me discuss here. Mm, let me show you that. Yes, yeah. So auto wait, right? I told you auto wait. So and DOM also I explained, right? So there is a document, HTML document, object model, and the element, the button or link is visible or stable, or whether it should be enabled or clickable or not clickable. So those kind of thing, so it will be driven. And also the locator standpoint. So there is the XPath. Anybody about know the XPath roles and TDS, like test data ID XPath. So basically, I will give some overview now. So here we have a locator. All right. Suppose as I told you. So suppose if I inspect it here, suppose there is a link. Yeah, it is a link, right? Get started is a link. Suppose if I inspect it, this one, you see that there is a one HTML, right? So what is this tag A? A is an anchor tag, right? And it has a attributes like a class equal to the class name, get started underscore sj, something like. And also we have a display text here. Okay, you can change this view. So I'll gonna teach you in the next session in detail how do we manage this window properly. Okay, so here you can see there is a get text. So this text is displayed in the web. Okay, so and also we have kind of other things. I will gonna show you. So here is a header, and here you see there is a link, section link. So which means these are the kind of locators, DOM locators. Okay, by default. Okay, by default, this tool, like not only this tool, Selenium, Cypress, or any other tool like Playwright. So all those have some. We need to give this kind of locator to find out this particular link objects on the web page elements. We call as a web page element. So when I'm going to tell you like web page element, web buttons, web links. So the UI elements, those are UI elements. right? So we will give that attributes, right? Role, area labels, something like. So all those things will be class names. So those gonna called as a selector. So this particular Playwright, which will have a strong selector engine, which can support all those things: selector, text, role. Okay. So the test ID, the data hyphen test ID. So data test ID is, it is not a kind of what we call attribute. It is not a test attribute, HTML attribute. It is a customized attribute. So earlier days, like when we do automation, so that time this all these locators is going to be changed. So whenever that new enhancement is happen on the page, all the locators are going to be changed. So then we have to do the rework. So rework estimation is going to be increased every release. So for that, so the dev team and a testing team, there is a coordination, like the common agreement. Hey boss, don't change that locator. You put a common data hyphen test ID. It is a fix. Never change any change happen in the your UI. So that is a kind of one. That is a kind of one agreement. So based on that, they will give that test data hyphen test IDs. So that is also support in the Playwright in inbuilt. Okay. Earlier in Selenium, we have there is a no locator for that, but in Playwright it has been taken as a one locator by built-in locator, something like right. Yes. And coming to that, built-in test runner. Okay, these are the free tools, right? So in Selenium, there is a no kind of built-in kind of test runner. So why do we use test runner? I want to run my test parallel. I want to run my test rerun, which are failed. I want to run my test, okay, and some kind of browser like Chrome browser, Firefox browser. I want to run my test in a different environment, QA environment, dev environment, stage environment, and client environment is a stage 2 or stage 3, and prod also. So to do that, we can configure our test such a way that by using, okay, test runner in the Playwright. Okay, yes. The next one is the browser context and isolation. So what is the browser context isolation? So this browser will have, okay, so this browser is a one of the browser context. So which means, suppose if I log in Gmail or any account, we have a session, right? Browser session. So I want to open a new tab. So this tab is like a kind of another browser context. Okay, but we don't want to use same browser cache, browser sessions. Okay, in banking application, most of the time when you open another tab, it will be incognito, new, new session. So we can isolate our session without any existing browser sessions. So that we can avoid our attacks, security attacks. So that is the case. Main banking domains, when you have any link, that should open as a fresh isolated browser new context. So that feature will be allowed in this. Okay, multiple independent browser context. Okay, single browser instance. Okay, so when it is useful, a multi-user scenarios perfectly used for multi-user. So you only act as a chart admin and normal user. So there is a privileges to the user to users, right? So that is the case. It will be like a multi-browser handling. Okay, so that time we can use this one, right? Yeah. So next one is a network calls. So where we can find in the browser? Anybody? Any idea? So basically, no other tool does not have this feature like a network control. So what does mean is, right? Suppose, suppose if I click this one, right? So if I click this one, there is I'm opening a new network tab. How do I open, right? So you can inspect it first. Let me change that view for better view. So here, so I will inspect it first. And right now I'm in element section. So here we have a network tab. So we call as a browser network console, right? So whenever the API integration is happen, the API calls will be in the network calls, right? So here, if I click this one, so there is a one. I think this application does not have much kind of APIs. It is a standalone applications. So that is the case. Let me open Google. So this is single page application. So it is a only page content only. So there is a no action. So let me open Google, and here I will click on here. So now you see, type a Playwright. Yeah, you see this. So the name, the APIs are is calling internally. Okay, the quick responses. So I search with this one, right? Header. So this is my request URL. So this is my request URL, and the status is 200. Okay, I got it, right? And that I also got a response. So it will navigate a Playwright dev page, something like. So this kind of network also we can trace, or we can read if you want anything in the data. So, or whether this page is loaded, I want to be like get this response. So those kind of network calls also we can interact by using Playwright. So this feature has we can interact. Okay, we can intercept our marking request as also request response. You want to change anything from the API also, you can do it. Okay, and powerful debugger tools, which is like a trace viewer. So what is a trace viewer? So we used to do like a network call, console logs, replay, and taking the screenshot, all those things. And also there is a code gen. So we have a recording feature also, it has it. The Playwright which will have a record playback feature that I will gonna explain going forward. Okay. So this is about the detail of this. Okay. The features and all. Playwright and Playwright features. So next, architecture. So this is also very, very important, and it is a common interview question. Okay, what is that? What is a Playwright architecture? If you explain properly detail, then okay, why people will ask you this question direct in the interview, right? So how, if you explain this particular answer, then they come up with that, okay, you have good expertise or in or experience on this tool. But how do I explain, and how do we do that? Because it is a core. Okay, so without architecture, explanation is you are not given properly, then you do not have a proper skill. Okay, so let me explain in that manner. So let's see that. First of all, I will explain the diagram level explanation. So you see that there is a client library, one module or one component, and in this component we have sub components. I will come up with them later, and there is a server. Okay, Playwright server. Okay, Playwright server, and this is all browser. Okay, this is all browsers. So basically, coming to the Playwright architecture, it is a client server architecture. Okay, client server architecture, and what is a client and what is a server? First, we need come to know. And second thing is, any server, any client server which cannot talk directly, it requires some protocol, which required some protocol to communicate. Internet, after the internet, we have some kind of protocols also, right? So that protocol is a WebSocket. Okay, that protocol is a WebSocket. And also, so browsers we have is one CDP technology. So that I'll also tell you. Okay. So these are the main components. So whenever you're going to explain Playwright architecture, you should have in a mind components, client libraries, which means client, server, what is the server, WebSocket, and browsers. So let me go into discuss this one. So first I will tell you the server. So what is a server? It is a Playwright server. Okay, Playwright server. Okay, Playwright server, which is developed by using Node.js npm package. Okay, the Playwright server is developed by Node.js package. Yes. Next is client. So what is a client? So client is kind of a Java and JavaScript, C Sharp, okay, and Python. So what is meant by client is basically we are developing our code by using language. Okay, so the language and editor. So we are going to use VS Code editor. Okay, so we are developing a one test script based on this language, TypeScript language, JavaScript language. I have written some kind of activity like opening a Chrome browser, entering a URL to navigate to some ICICI bank, something like, or like google.com, right? So then whenever we have written, develop the script, right? Whenever if I execute this one, this request, okay, my execution will take a one request. Okay, my suppose we have run there is a test runner I explained, right? By using test runner, I will run my test. Then automatically this WebSocket protocol, which will take that my code execution one by one. Okay, step by step. So it will take to the code and convert and send as a request to this particular Playwright server, and the Playwright server which understand and translate the code command, which understand and translate the code command, and based on the code command, it will it will open the browser and it will perform the action on the particular browser. Okay, suppose we have written the code like open the google.com. So again, it will open the google.com. Chrome browser, specific browser. If it is a Chrome browser, Chrome browser. If it is a Firefox browser, then it will open the Firefox. Whether it is a WebKit browser, it will open the WebKit browser. Again, that next request will come. So what is the next request? Suppose enter the data on the search button, search area. So it will enter. Then it will click enter the or click the button, search button. So something like it will drive our scripts, right? So it will drive our script. So this is the whole architecture. So which means you have written, you should know about the technology, how to write your test code and also your execution, test runner, and also you know that server, right? And the browser execution. So that is the case. People will ask them, what is the architecture of the any tool, right? Yes. So now let me explain sequentially, right? And the way you need to represent in our interview. So basically, the client library is a component. So in the client library, we have to write our code with based on the language Java, TypeScript, Python, and we can run the test. When running the test, the commands, the send. When we run the command, when we run the test, the web socket will take the as a one command, and it will connect to the Playwright server, and which talk a browser protocol, that is CDP. So I'll come to the point what is a CDP as well. And so that is a kind of real browser engine. So where interact the browser based on the commands which we have. Okay. So that is the way we have to explain. And they will come up with some questions. So do you need to start any Playwright server? Do you need to start any WebSocket, or what is a WebSocket? So what is a CDP? These questions will come, right? So I'll tell you that. So what is a WebSocket, right? So suppose we want to communicate two bodies or two members or two computers. So what generally we used to use? I told you that there is a protocol. So earlier you heard about Selenium, right? Selenium, which run on the browser automation. We use HTTP protocol, Internet protocol, right? but this is a WebSocket protocol. So what was the difference? So the people will come or people will ask that what is a WebSocket protocol? So why they didn't use or did not use HTTP protocol? What is the difference between HTTP protocol, WebSocket protocol, or what is a WebSocket protocol? So those kind of questions, generic questions will be there. To for the answer is like kind of see HTTP protocol is a protocol which communicate or which once the connection is established, which send the request one by one. So which means the once command sent to the server and the HTTP protocol will wait until that first request of responses come to back. Okay, it should wait once the first responses come back, then only it will send the next request to the server. So that is the mechanism of HTTP protocol. Okay, but coming to the WebSocket protocol is a bi-directional communication, right? Once that communication is established, you no need to wait like HTTP protocol. So it will the WebSocket protocol which keep on sending the request, whether that response come up from the first request or second request. It don't bother about that. It will keep on sending the response, and also when the sorry, it will keep on send the request, and also it will pick that keep on coming the responses as well. It will collect and read. It will collect and make a next assignment something. So that is what it is. It is a two-way communication. Okay, WebSocket is continuously a two-way communication. So your test code, the client libraries, and also Playwright server as a Node.js, right? So that is the case. This communication, this by using WebSocket communication, it is a faster and real time. So you your test can send as an action and receive the result without without continuously reconnect. You don't want to reconnect again because the connection is established. Keep on send and you are getting the responses, right? Yes. So basically, and also like I will tell you that one more thing here, Playwright server detail. Okay, so Playwright server or Node.js. Okay, it is a brain. So in the general term, I can tell you the brain. Okay, for a Selenium server. So what it does basically, it is a kind of middleware. So which interact our code to browser actions. Okay, it is a bridge. The server is kind of act as a bridge between our code, client libraries, or we have designed the code, and also it communicates to the web browser. So basically, it will this server, the Playwright server, which receive the command from the client libraries. Okay, do this, do click, do action, something like. So it will manage the browser context. Okay, browser context. Which browser context? Chrome browser context. Okay, Firefox browser context, and also it will communicate with the pages and actions. It will translate high level action into a actual click actions, browser level actions, we can say. Okay, yes, yeah, and let's we'll see that what is a CDP. Okay, so in the general term, you can see that a client WebSocket Playwright server browser. So this is a detail. It is a high level.